And a great big hey howdy hey to all my goofy goobers out there. Welcome back to Animanic Commentaries with C.Auzi+D.Fanatic. And tonight we are going to be watching the 2001 feature animated production from Richard Rich's Nest Studios, Nest Animations in Burbank. We're going to be watching The Trumpet of the Swan. So this was based on a book by the same author, E.B. White, who also did Stuart Little, which, as we all know...
And Charlotte's Web.
And Charlotte's Web, of which we know to have previously had adaptations since even
all
before...
three books.
Since even before
all
this
three books have been
film.
adapted now.
Yeah. Like Hanna-Barbera actually did an adaptation of Charlotte's Web, and then there was a live-action animated hybrid adaptation featuring Michael J. Fox as the titular Stuart Little, and then another version of Charlotte's Web was made in 2006, but that was after this movie, which was done in the same way as Stuart Little, but obviously with a mostly animated cast, because you can't really do that with real animals for the most part.
She isn't going through anything serious. I can't be late to these things. Jeez, guys. Oh, goodness. You did the same thing last week when I was late for our other date. I'm like, guys, I can't be late because I'm handling laundry, which I have to do every night because I'm a swim instructor.
Yes. So... Honey, are you familiar with this movie at all? Like this particular?
I think I've only watched it through once. I didn't own the VHS or DVD or anything. And when it was on TV, I'm like, oh, good, I can finally get to watch this movie.
Yeah, I was looking around for this film, like local videos.
Yeah, I think. Probably because it came out in 2001.
Yeah,
no
actually,
wonder I didn't see it.
My local video store, like I've mentioned.
2001 was when I moved from the United States. So.
All right, well, my local video store, it has like everything in like DVDs and Blu-rays and shit. Obviously not everything, but the kick in the shins is that there is a DVD of this movie that exists. You can go purchase it, like you can probably go find it, maybe even at the bottom of the bargain bin, like at your local Walmart or something. But this movie is so
the free version on YouTube.
Yeah, if you want a more official channel, it is also for free on the streaming service Tubi, which is, as you can see up there. But here's the kick in the shins. This movie is so like underground, as it were, that the video store only had it as a VHS. And I couldn't find it at my library either. So, like, I can only find the original book.
Because as far as adaptations go, this one's pretty direct.
Which I don't know what that says about the quality of the book. But at least you can attest to what the book, what they did or did not change.
Yeah,
from the book.
almost everything was from the book. I think just a couple things in the third act were changed.
Right. Well, I suppose by thus process we shall not beat around the bush. Everyone get set for synchronization. Yeah. Synchronization nation. We gonna synchronate. Yeah. Synchronate. Synchronate. Now you find the TriStar logo at the front of this movie if you're on Tubi, because again, I was on Tubi earlier, just so I could, I could record it first and then bring it to my computer, because I didn't want the potential of like overloading the internet by streaming to YouTube and then streaming the movie from the internet. It's a whole thing. and then I'm on Discord with my girlfriend. It's like it's a lot of internet. It's a lot of internet. So, are we all ready to begin?
I think you forgot something.
What did I forget?
Well, look at your display.
What? Which display? Which one? What?
The display of your stream.
Oh. Boop. There you are. Sorry about that.
I assumed you were waiting until everybody showed up or something.
You know how to play a trumpet because you're a trumpeter. Well, hello, Mr. Hard's Neighborhood. Someone who's familiar with this story, movie even.
Actually, I did. Oh, yeah, I actually did play the trumpet in 5th grade band.
Oh, neat.
I don't have it anymore.
Not everyone does. All right. Well, enough beating around the bush, everybody. Get your copy ready to synchronize. Remember, the whole thing is to keep YouTube from flagging us down for copyright shit. So you'll follow along with the incredibly easy to follow blurry image on screen to match everything up with the visuals that you have yourself. And you can also hear the movie on your end. We're going to have it muted. Now, everybody start in 3, 2, 1. Coho! Oh boy. It's always the instance. It's like, who released this? TriStar. Wait, wasn't it also TriStar who released Stuart Little as well? That'd be.
I don't know. They released a lot of movies around this time.
No, wait. I think it was Sony. Columbia Pictures released Stuart Little. That's right. But anyway, TriStar Pictures bring us this.
It's hard to tell the difference because TriStar and Columbia, they joined forces a whole lot.
That is true. They did tend to do that a lot. A Lynn Oliver production. But both of them are Sony companies? Oh. So, okay. And to open us up in this movie are the dulcet tones of Jason Alexander. And since a lot of the animation was actually done by a Korean studio, as I was watching the credits earlier, you can imagine that most of the budget probably went to the voice cast. You got Jason Alexander,
Reese Witherspoon,
Carol Burnett, I was gonna say. And you got a few
Seth Green was definitely a celebrity by this time because I think he would have been on Buffy the Vampire Slayer by now.
Yeah. Now
they do. Okay, there are other eggs.
Yeah. Now, they're not rhyming on accident. This is our first musical number in the movie. Not gonna bury the lead on that one. This movie has a lot of musical numbers, but I'm wondering about whether or not I would refer to this as a musical. But I mean, whatever you think of the quality of this song, Jason Alexander is a really good singer. And this is not the only musical he's done. I mean, obviously we watched The Hunchback of Notre Dame, but he's done others. He was like the troubadour or like the castle servant in the Brandy Cinderella. But yeah.
Again, I've only watched this through once, so I'm trying to actually listen.
Yes, Mr. Hard, you'll actually be able to find the movie on Tubi for free. Then sync up the blurry image on your end with your footage, etc. It's honestly it's
I mean, this is actually, this was the line of thought in the book.
The words.
Yes, the dad expected that all the kids would be able to have great trumpeting sounds like him.
Yep. Which in that way, it makes sense for them to see, like... It would make a lot of sense out of his whole song about wanting them to be...
Yes, of course you can't see what it looks like. It's all blurry and painted.
Yeah.
I'm guessing this is your first time in the stream.
Yep. You go to Tubi,
go
open
to the
it up,
YouTube version. It's for free.
and then you can like open it in a different window and sync up the footage, and then you'll be able to follow along. I'll say like the animation hasn't necessarily seen. Okay, it has seen a bit of a dip in quality. I'd say. I'd say that even like the rotoscoping they do, and it's not because they're swans, but because, you know, is being done by
Ella, like Ella Fitzgerald.
That would make sense.
There was a girl, Billy, jazz singer. I'm trying to remember what she was called.
Yeah. But anyone who sees green hair and someone named Billy, they're probably gonna think of Billie Eilish nowadays.
Like Louis Armstrong.
Now that one, which makes sense because he does the trumpet of the swan. And oh tragedy. Oh tragedy. This is really sad. It's sad for a number of different reasons, which we'll get to over time, but like I gotta say, like, the character designs are still pretty good. And we've gotten to the point where they're digitally coloring, so... And honestly, I think the background art is still being done physically, and I think I know what they're using. What's the material called?
Okay, calm down, people. There's such a thing called character development.
That is true. Again, that is something I do like, and something that is missing in some modern films. Well, mostly from the Disney sect. Is like, there are some movies that are just afraid to have some characters be rude or assholes, even if on accident. Like, he's not saying these things because he doesn't love his son. It's...
Squad, they couldn't afford a voice actor for him. Nope, that's not true. They did.
No! And I mean, you'll tell me whether or not the stuff he says, like... But, yeah.
But, yeah, they really pretty much take the events, like, sequence for sequence. Even this fox here.
I do love how they don't fully spell that out, too. It's like they wouldn't show a fox at random, so everybody keep that in the back of your brain.
Yeah.
But, like, the specific materials being used, I know what medium the background art is done in, because I actually did it for a class once. And that there is Seth Green there. That's one way of putting it.
I was about to root for the sisters there, but...
Is that how they phrased it in the book?
I don't remember if they use the word defective.
That looked oddly rotoscoped. Like, the movement was a little too rigid.
I think the squirrel was an addition.
Well, and that's
Katsushi. Familiar voice.
That's Katsushi doing the young voice for this character. Yep. I'd say as far as the animation is concerned, this movie is at least decent.
Yeah, they do add a little bit to the childhood stuff, like...
It wasn't I don't think it was ever going to make a theatrical release, and I don't think it did. Probably why it was under the TriStar banner. But yeah. I do love how she just does that.
Yeah, them meeting as kids was definitely added.
And here it is, the and this, I don't know, I have to imagine that some of the things that he says in his head are
considering a lot. There's a lot of internal thought in the book.
There'd be a lot of dialogue in the book that he has, but that couldn't be conveyed like out loud. I do find it creates a problem in the audiovisual medium, though, for a number of different reasons. Like, which I can keep going. Hello, Geo. But like, I mean, they can certainly try to see how hard you try. Definitely remember that from when I was a kid. It's like, again, stepping in and out of this room and not really knowing what this movie was. And then only seeing the climax and thinking it was some kind of a Swan Princess sequel. We'll get to why when we get there.
That was somehow in the future.
Well, and D. Bradley Baker is Louis. Yes, D. Bradley Baker did the voice of Louis. Not one you know for voice acting usually, one you mostly know for... I think that's also Kath Soucie. But yeah, D. Bradley Baker usually does play animals. He's playing an animal in this movie, so... Oh, Squad. A trumpeter swan? Louis the trumpeter swan? That's a good point. Same guy. Look at him dancing. Dancing swan.
Yeah, he's essentially our Fern in this story.
Yeah,
you like Charlotte's Web? Yeah.
Like to Charlotte's Web, he's Fern to our Wilbur. I don't know why, but I think, like, in the field of animation, the way you can convey emotions without dialogue would have just made this, like, a perfect adaptation for animation.
Oh. Yeah, who sleeps with their glasses on? That's what I'd like to know.
That's an excellent question. Ask the people who animated this movie. That's a sweet little moment. Yeah, you gotta find this movie has a lot of sweet little moments. As I mentioned about the Bobby Hill, that's who that voice sounds like. Who was the voice of Bobby Hill? Was it? No. Pamela Edlin. Okay. So... That's the way they drew him flexing there.
The dad is just as boisterous in the book.
Oh yeah, no, I believe it.
I mean, if I were to imagine if a swan could talk, it's like, yes, I'm very proud of what I am.
Probably would sound like this. I do have to admit that Jason Alexander was at the very least having fun in this role. Actually, I gotta say, everyone seemed to be having a lot of fun in these roles. Like, I don't know how they thought the final product would turn out, but, I mean, we're doing an animated adaptation of an E.B. White book by the same people who did The Swan Princess. Obviously, that's gonna be a winner right there, right? None of those things are exclusive, necessarily. But yeah. Mr. Hard, you can find a copy of this movie on Tubi. Open it in a different window. and match up the
Yeah.
images to each
Or,
other.
or go on YouTube if you don't have Tubi.
Well, Tubi is free. You can watch everything on Tubi for free. It's all free. With very little exception, I'd imagine.
Yeah, and if you have a problem with it, Mr. Hard's Neighborhood, just leave.
Yeah. Anyway, what do we got going on? He's gonna fly. Somehow they drew him even smaller since the last... I feel like they were looking at the wrong model sheet for these scenes. Well, this is what happens when you send your animations production overseas without... And it could also have been like a kind of a editing mix-up where they had scenes originally going to be in a certain order. But yeah. He certainly is trying to be fair. That is correct, Scribe. But yeah, the background art
definitely gives Serena a little bit more personality in this one.
That's definitely a line that you probably couldn't convey through anything other than dialogue. But at the same time, one may wonder if they needed to convey that. Bye-bye. Not in the broad daylight, they won't.
A lot of internal dialogue from the book.
I'd have to imagine. And to a certain extent, I think that's fine. And while we have a break from the animation, my biggest problem is that Louis doesn't have his own voice. So his inner monologues wouldn't have a unique voice. It would only have the voices that he's ever heard in his life. So it just becomes really strange to me that they would cast
What do you even know about...
What do you mean?
What do you even know about what a mute person hears in their head?
I mean, fair enough. But it also kind of cheats the audience out of, knowing what the character is feeling. In a book, you can definitely get away with that a lot. I feel like in film, though, so this is a great dialogue moment here. one can only hope, right? Everybody, I'm sure, is familiar with pastel as a color palette, but pastels are also a chalk type medium that can be worked in for art, and I believe it's pastels that's being used for the art, the background art in this film. You even notice like some bits where there was like some damage to the backgrounds, like there's just some little specks or gaps. It's kind of strange. It does make it feel. It does make it that you can feel it. Feel the difference. That's also a pretty good line. It's perfect. You're right, birds cannot see glass. This is...
Yeah. Oh, this is also from the book.
Oh yeah, no, definitely, definitely. When you know E.B. White...
Okay, that was quite the sharp change.
That was quite a turn.
Ooh.
Again, everyone in this film was definitely having a lot of fun.
Yeah, this squirrel is definitely new.
But I believe the squirrel is named Sammy, and you can hear his voice and his mannerisms. Like, he's definitely a Sammy Davis Jr. type. So in order to keep throwing in all those jazz references. Which kind of makes me wonder how Louis came to this conclusion, like, in the book. Then, if he didn't...
I think he realized it from the human friend, because he saw him writing all that time.
Why'd they give him monkey paws? A squirrel with monkey paws. I love this moment here. There's a lot of technical stuff in this film that is really good.
Yeah, now I will say that he didn't get the trumpet until after, well,
after he ran away.
What?
Yeah.
That was nice.
Yeah.
The wanted sign.
It's like, how would you even enforce that? How many birds are coming to your store? A way to know who it is. I love this. Yep. It's just... This is definitely... Like, you can see this, everything that they're doing without inner monologue from Louis. I feel like it's... I mean, I get it. Like, a lot of it comes from the book, but I feel like it cheapens the movie a bit. And the movie already looks cheap, you know? I would argue that's not true. And I'd also argue that it's neither of your faults. And the girls aren't helping. The daughters aren't helping at all.
Now the point the mom is making is like the point that mom's making like we. Aww.
Did she say who will I die with?
Dive.
Dive. Okay. Because I was like, what the hell?
There she is.
Yep.
Cal Burnett.
Yep. Do I hear happiness in here? Her design and like mannerisms are also very Miss Frizzle coded. You might notice. I don't even know if that was on purpose. I do love how this situation escalates.
Man, Evie White really had a thing for this sort of magic realism with animals.
Oh yeah, no, between Stort being a talking mouse, a swan who's able to read and write, and same thing with a spider who knows how to read and write. Like, honestly, he really just loves doing these oddball concepts that, like, because they take place in a world that looks and feels like ours, it's just they feel slightly plausible to the young at heart. You know, it's magical. Again, some of the rotoscoping is really weird. Really weird that it's rotoscoped. Especially when you send like your animation to fucking Korea. They do animation really well. I don't get why you would ask them to rotoscope. Are swans poultry? I don't know. Is that correct? Is that animalistically correct, scientifically speaking? I don't know. I think poultry. I think chicken.
Poultry's a bird.
Yeah, I don't think swans are poultry though. Chickens and turkeys, I think, but not swans. I don't even think ducks are poultry.
Poultry is a term for domesticated birds that are raised for their meat, eggs, and feathers.
So, I guess if he is domesticated, that would make him poultry. Go figure. He doesn't have hands. That was really weird animation.
It really was.
It almost feels like whenever a character in a Rankin Bass special gets exasperated and their eyes go, oh. I mean, you'd probably drink too if you actually were teaching. Well, what do you know? What were we just talking about?
Hey, why is it an animation? They end up turning the page the wrong way a lot.
That's also true. He was turning the page the wrong way. Animated in Korea. I don't know if Korea is the same as Japan, but they turn the page. But in Japan, they turn the pages that direction. So that could be the reason for the error. Now I think that's a pretty good. That's a pretty good lesson. That's a pretty good life lesson. You can do anything you set your mind to, including but not limited to murder. So maybe don't do anything you set your mind to, or maybe don't set your mind to literally anything. Look at him go. He even like learned like their human slang. Thanks a million, pal, chum, bucko. And this is why I hesitate to call the movie a musical, because, like, it's been a long time, and we haven't even had a second song. It's coming up soon, but, like... He returns.
Like Scribe, you have to wonder how long it was. At least a couple months.
They made him their personal science project. Raising a good point. Well, this
Yeah,
is
but-
called a chalkboard.
Except
Yep.
that this is pretty much how it went down in the book.
I do love that this is the direction it goes. Because, let's be honest, this is absolutely the logical path this would take, and it's absolutely upsetting.
Like, you didn't take into account that they don't know how to read.
Yes, that's Reese Witherspoon as grown-up Serena Sally.
Yeah.
Forget her name.
But it wasn't all for naught.
No.
Oh.
Now this is quite a tender moment. Now, I want to point out, because they do make a joke later about him not having lips because he's a goose or swan. He's a swan. He has a bill. He doesn't have lips. That's the thing, though. I don't know if E.B. White knew this.
Suspension of disbelief, okay?
Well, that's the thing, though. It's like you actively need lips to play the trumpet, because a brass versus woodwind, you blow into a woodwind, but for a brass instrument, it's played more similarly like a kazoo. It's based on vibrations. You gotta buzz your lips together very, very tight, like.
Okay, look, it's a kid's story.
Yep. And here's our next number. It's been way too long for this to be a proper musical.
Or she wasn't sing.
What you gonna do? I will agree that a jazz musical does make a lot of sense for a story like this. Especially, when E.B. White himself put in a lot of like references to like Ellis Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong in his characters' names. It's like, yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense. Off he goes.
Billie Holiday, that's who I was thinking of.
Ah.
I was like, there was a Billie, not Billie Eilish. No, like older.
Something older. Something
Yeah,
jazz
I like
related.
jazz.
Jazz. No. He really does try.
They did cut the whole plot line where Serena was taken by the zoo and he had to save her from getting her wings clipped.
Oof. Yeah, I watched this movie like sometime last year when I found it on Tubi. And, yeah, they definitely did not do that plot line. Nope. And I like this father's design too, with the little feather hair.
Green. And they did this whole plot line was added in.
No Boyd.
And definitely no arranged marriage thing going on here.
What would it even mean to join them for dinner? Like, because, like, I mean...
Swansea too, honey.
Yeah, but, like, join them for dinner specifically. Now this is interesting. Because we just dropped into Cool World all of a sudden in this nightmare sequence. Is every single building has a face. They're staring at him. I gotta say, like, this is a very interesting way of portraying it. And of course, it makes sense that a swan would portray some, like, portray, like, faces in these giant behemoths, these buildings, not necessarily knowing what they are. Yeah. The guilt's finally caught up to him. A Trumpet of the Swan is about a mute swan who has to play the trumpet. You can find access to it on Tubi or YouTube for free. But, like, yeah. I am curious to know what digital program they were using for this, like, because I don't think other studios had access to the CAPS system. Then again, maybe they did. I don't know. Did Steve Jobs sell it? That is really sweet.
She doesn't even know what it means.
No.
Because it's not a swan thing, it's a human thing.
Yeah. But if Louis could learn it, he could always teach her.
Yeah, but he can't. He's not able to communicate with her yet.
That's the trouble.
Can't
I think that might be the worst integrated CGI in any animated movie ever. That is really bad. God.
Ew.
All right, you little creeper. What are we gonna do?
Okay, you're right. It wasn't necessary to hear the dialogue there.
Yeah. Yet again. It's like, even if it's a children's movie and, like, you're expecting the kids who are watching can't read, it's like, that's still kind of cheating out of the whole point of the story, though. Like, especially when they do. Also, you guys try to understand what this guy's saying.
I think that's the point of the joke.
Yeah. But, like, you can.
he could be saying swear words for all you know.
You can understand what he's saying, and he's not swearing.
I can't. Take that thing away from your mouth.
Okay, that last one I didn't quite get it.
Why would you play that song? They're not dying.
One may wonder. A sense
What's wrong with your ears? I understand it perfectly. Well, okay, good on you, Daisy Duck.
Jeez, you can't escape people making fun of you in either world. I don't know, he did pretty damn good. Ooh.
It just
that one
exists to
smelled
me.
good. And really, really awful CGI.
Oh yeah, I think this
canoe.
was from the book too.
Kid, what are you doing? Kid, what are you doing?
Yeah, and but the kid is specifically really hated birds, I think.
I mean, you can't disprove that necessarily. Seems like he hated Louis from the beginning. Alright, a swim instructor's case study on Trumpet of the Swan. Let's see how Louis does it.
Well, he's a swan, so he'll be doing it differently. But yeah, he's caught in the current, so he could very well be stuck.
Oh no, definitely. Definitely stuck.
Yeah, but, well, you do want to get under the drowning victim.
Which is where he is.
Yeah.
Those must be some strong-ass feet. Good lord. You're gonna have to speak up, Coach. I couldn't get you on that one. You take care there, Riley. Jeez. Okay, how many things is this swan gonna wear around his neck? It's getting kind of crowded.
You know, that's emphasized in the book. Like, at this rate, it's gonna weigh me down.
You always end up surprising yourself sometimes.
Earl gets around.
I know, he's hopping around between different places in Montana. If they had to fly south of Montana, if they had to fly south and ended up in Montana, then they probably were in Canada. Where is this kid? This kid goes to school in America, but he goes to summer camp in Canada? I don't get it.
That's why you use it. Okay.
Well, they're not geese, they're swans. Where? Off they go.
And he does this without getting any instruction.
I'm sure anyone could teach themselves. It would just take them a while. Well, if I got a sense... Obviously, I can give license to him using his feathers as hands, but for some reason I had trouble with the fact that he can't buzz his lips that he doesn't have. I'm a little weird like that.
Her name is Apathy.
I was just gonna say, who names their kid Apathy?
I mean...
Did she not give a shit?
I mean, their kids say Felicity, Charity, and...
Now, Apathy... Agony...
Yeah, hello, Seth Green. Are you a werewolf in here?
I don't think so.
Some of you might also know him from the second Scooby-Doo movie. The live-action one. Well, they actually let him have fun with this one.
This is like the conflict while they're
was a
paraphrasing
line.
it. I do think I really like they have integrated the heart. Like the heart was obviously drawn as like a physical like background piece, like the rest of the pastels.
Yeah, this whole plot line, I don't think was in the book. No.
But I mean, if you want to, but I mean, like Richard Rich's stuff, like wanted to follow the Disney model, so there's always got to be a Gaston type, I suppose. I think there was even like a Gaston wannabe in the Scarecrow movie.
Oh, there is a Gaston in the Scarecrow movie. In fact, you'll think that that movie looks a lot like Beauty and the Beast styles.
Oh no, it definitely does. Off they go. Through the grapevine.
Squirrel Vine, I suppose.
What does it mean to you?
Like that, most of these squirrels don't even know who they're talking about. Oh, and that is how the news is delayed.
Yep.
Oh, brother.
Welcome to the big city. Hey, look, swan boats, naturally. Why is he JFK?
Because caricatures.
Well, off we go.
And see, the writing, learning how to write didn't amount to nothing because now you can talk to the humans.
Yep, indeedy. Corey Burton. Oh, that's probably the best trumpeting we've heard in the movie. And I'm not saying that just because I love jazz. I'm saying it because there isn't like an insane reverb on it. It's very like tight. There's always something in there.
Okay, now that is something.
Again, he could have like written that down like and asked him like, "What's a manager?"
I think they made this guy a lot sleazier than he was in the book.
Well, off we go. Sure you did. Off we go.
I loved Little Richard as a kid.
Yeah.
I think I still have a CD.
Wow. Okay.
Okay,
Just cut
I
back
will
to
say this montage doesn't make much
Montana.
sense.
They definitely decided. I mean, the statue came to life. Now we're in the friggin' Ritz. I get inclination that that's supposed to be Coney Island.
Yeah, but this is supposed to be Boston.
Boston, which is New York adjacent.
Not that New York adjacent.
Oh, it's a short fly for Louis.
These are pretty random scenes, though.
They definitely are going with the music video vibe.
Well, it's like they were still doing the 90s stuff.
Yep. Which is definitely true.
Yeah, I think Louis actually went to the Ritz himself when he realized someone could steal the money I have.
Monsieur.
That's funny.
That's one hell of a lisp on that guy. It's like a swan with excellent penmanship.
That's funny.
Get it off your neck for once.
Yeah, he does actually test out the bathroom in the book. Although they take out the thing that he only wants watercress sandwiches and he will only eat the watercress part. Oh, wait, never mind. Maybe they do include it. Yeah. Just like in the book. He talks funny.
Always leave a tip. Good lord.
Hi, Gracie Ann, my little fluffy princess, my little fluffy princess.
Looks like we got another animal. Gracie. Too much light pollution, and that's what they got, bub.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah, they took out the part where, and they're old.
Oh.
And they look sad.
Probably because they're... I feel like a musical where one of the characters probably couldn't sing would be really interesting. And not just because, like... And yeah, I get it. Like, you could have also done the You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown thing, like, with Snoopy's songs, where it's just... You know, he sings them.
Well,
but, you know.
or the Little Mermaid.
Or Little Mermaids, similar thing. But honestly, I still think... But at least Ariel could talk at one point in the story.
I mean, like in the stage version where she had a couple songs that were internal dialogue.
No. But my point is, like...
What?
What is
I
even
mean, they're birds.
It's good for the skin, I think.
I don't look at you guys.
He's back. No. Well, this ain't the Hollywood Bowl. Where in Boston is this amphitheater? Boston. I think you said Fenway Park, right, Squad?
Ow, ow. I need to clip your claws, honey. Oh, yeah, in the book, he would stay at the zoo, and and then stay at the Ritz in the winter or something.
That makes a lot of sense. I wonder what the legality of birds signing contracts is. I feel like there's supposed to be some animation there. That's true. Really loves it's like either When the Saints Go Marching In or the Swanee River.
It's When the Saints Go Marching In.
Well, I mean, like the songs that the many songs he goes to. I gotta say the Drop Shadows being animated very well.
Dude, you lose more bills that way.
I love how he carefully makes sure he grabs every single one he tossed. Just this guy. Money's the only thing he seems to be concerned with. Can't be the only thing he gets. Oh, Fenway Park, the baseball thing in the montage, that's right.
Yeah, I wonder if those songs are copyrighted. When the Saints Go Marching In? No.
Yeah, that one's pre-copyright. Any song written before 1920 does not have any concerns. It's in public domain. Woof!
Finally.
Tomorrow? Good lord.
Weird, we're watching this right now.
What did Turkey Lurkey say in the Chicken Little video game? This is an election
like I said,
year.
this guy.
Shit.
Oh, okay. Did you take a clip in wings there, though? Oh god.
I forgot that they did that in this movie. So I guess they didn't fully get rid of the wing clipping dealy. They just changed which angle
they changed who did it.
They changed who did it and who was at the wrong end of the scissors. Oh shit. Well,
yeah, this whole wedding thing didn't happen in the book.
yep. I guess they just need an excuse to force a lot of stuff together. Well, there's gonna be like 5 things that happen all at once. As soon as he gets to that wedding. And now the storm hits. You really... Do swans mate for life?
I don't think so.
Fascinating. I'm gonna say no.
Well, actually, yes. Swans are known for forming monogamous pair bonds that can last for many years or even a lifetime.
Well, there you go.
Oh, even though they don't breed until they reach 4 to 7 years old, swans perform a graceful mating dance.
I think she finally understands what that little shape
Yes.
means.
So swans perform a graceful mating dance. They dip their heads into the water, then raise and ruffle their feathers while moving their necks in unison.
Good lord, leave him alone. Welcome to the 3rd act. Pretty slick thinking, X-Lax.
That did not match his lips at all.
Nope. What lips?
Mouth moving. Never mind.
Down she goes. I gotta say the color palettes in this movie are very pretty. I love how she's duetting with a trumpet. Just really sweet moment. Honk, 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 and goose. Because they gave Louis a voice actor, it would have been so easy to make this a normal love duet, but they actually went and just had it be Serena and the trumpet, which is great. Honestly, that's a nice little touch. Like, did I speak too soon? I think I spoke too soon. No, I think that was just a doubling over the voices kind of effect. Never mind. Honestly, yes, like, you look at this. This could have been really interesting. And there... Nice. I feel like there were bones here that could make this really interesting.
Oh.
Aww. Nah. This is such a moment.
And now he really does understand him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they know of money. They spend a lot of time around humans. The scene of my crime. That's a sentence.
Ooh.
You'd think the wanted poster would be... Ah, shit.
This is pretty much
Hold
from the
the
book.
hell
Ah!
up! Not in city limits! And it was this. It was this shit and the wedding that I saw offhandedly that made me think this was a Swan Princess sequel. It's like, oh no, the swan's gonna die. It'll never turn back into a princess. Like, I knew what I was talking about.
In a music store.
Look, I saw this. I saw
century?
these scenes as a kid. I didn't have the proper context for what was going on. It was like I could have confused it for any movie. They're bringing. Shouldn't they be bringing veterinarians for this?
It's no, that was really how it was.
That's hilarious.
Because, well, it's been established he's a very dramatic guy. Yeah.
The lifespan of a swan, though, I don't imagine you'd be protecting Louis specifically. Maybe his kids.
I know.
Oh. I remember hearing that line of dialogue as a kid, and I'm like, what Swan Princess sequel is where the princess stays a swan? I don't understand what's going on. It's like, I didn't know what was going on. I had no idea what was happening.
I mean, the whole thing is that the dad just never stops talking, so.
He's kind of like Owl from the Winnie the Poohs.
Oh, God. That really is a marriage. Yeah, that's a marriage there, right?
This was made after the third Swan Princess film. So, like I said, again, Swan Princess adjacent. It definitely is.
So by then, used to drawing swans.
Yep.
When suddenly, eggs!
They're up to like.
But that's like, how many is that? 8?
They're up to 7 eggs now. They were like 3, 4, then 7. How many eggs is that? My God. 7 eggs.
Aww.
Good Lord. And here's that kid again. No. I mean, that's one way of saying it.
I think that's directly from the book. Those lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, the kid would write in his journal a lot.
It would make a lot of sense.
Babies.
Babies. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 eggs left. So that's like, that's 9. 9. There were 9 of them. 9 of the little buggers. Good lord. Directed by Richard Rich and Terry L. Noss. My god, that movie was bizarre.
I thought it was cute. And, you know, for a literary adaptation, it was pretty close to the book.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely... I kind of assumed as much when I saw this for the first time, like, actually sitting down with it. And I was like... The trumpeter swans lay 3 to 8 eggs in a clutch. Well, then laying 9 must be some kind of goddamn miracle. Either that or the animators made a mistake, which, I mean... Caddy-Wall and Cindelis.
You know what? This swan plays the trumpet without any
and
lips.
Bernie Van de Yacht.
Let's just...
You know what? You know what? Give credit to the casting directors because the casting was pretty on point. You know, like, I feel like the voice cast is probably one of the best aspects of this whole movie. Jason Alexander as the father. Didn't even have a name. Mary Steenburgen as mother. And then Serena was Reese Witherspoon. Boyd was Seth Green. Yes, as we've been going over the... Carol Burnett as Mrs. Hammerbotham. Joey Mantega as Monty. Hey, this swan's gonna make me billions of dollars. See?
Oh, Montaigne.
And Sam Gifaldi as Sam the Beaver. Melissa Disney is Billy.
Melissa Disney?
Yep. If you're thinking Disney, yes, Disney.
Melissa Disney, didn't she did something else?
She did, yeah. She definitely did. It had a cool cast, but lost to The Emperor's New Groove, Scribe says. Yeah, that's...
She was in Baldur's Gate.
Stephen E. Gordon, John Celeste. Okay, so there were some animators and background artists who were here stateside that did some animation. Additional computer animation, Timothy Yu and Chris Cho. Alright, this is where we start getting to the... And the ADR voices, Melissa Disney, Taylor Gifaldi. I mean, a lot of the actual actors doing the ADR. The choreography, the dancers, re-recording dancers. Like I said, there was a lot of rotoscoping in this film.
That's where I've heard of it. Right, she's Ginger, and it's told by Ginger.
Louie.
Like that's why her voice sounded so
Richard.
familiar.
The Spitting Image, performed by Jason Alexander and Mary Steenburgen. Kenya Hathaway, To Touch the Sky. Hey. By Melissa Disney, E.G. Daly, yeah. So there were no...
Yes, she's Ginger Foutley. That's where I know her voice
And then
from.
the overseas production by Hangyo Hoyo Co. Limited in Seoul, Korea. I probably mispronounced all of that. Animation directors. And these are the majority of the animators in this movie. And the cleanup artists as well. And the background
Give
director.
credit to Koreans. They know how to animate.
Oh, yeah. No doubt.
Definitely a lot of fluid animation in there.
I'd say this movie wouldn't necessarily be the best showing of what Korean animators could do. I think the best showing of what Korean animators could do would be Avatar: The Last Airbender. But again, different animation studios, different productions, different needs. There's plenty of Korean animation studios that also worked on Animaniacs, Pinky and the Brain. You look all this up, you'll probably find a couple episodes of Phineas and Ferb were animated in Korea. There's a lot. There's a lot of stuff that gets sent overseas. And honestly, and Completion Bond. Completion Bond? Are you telling me this film passed hands? Are you telling me that this film was a baton passing hatchet job? Oh lordy. that makes a lot of sense out of the
This was 2000.
2000, not 2001. IMDb is wrong then.
Maybe it was distributed like a year later. It sometimes happens.
Maybe it's like this film didn't actually get much out of its theatrical limited release, and thus only really... But, yeah, no, as far as animation's concerned, the film is it's direct to video. It's essentially a direct to video film, even if it did have a limited theater run. It's direct to video movie, and by those standards, the animation's not bad, honestly. For a TV movie kind of budget looking thing, it's like, it's not bad. It's not really bad. The voice cast, we're having a lot of fun with it. I still think my personal biggest issue with this movie, like in the long run, is that like I would have said this film is a cute little diversion, if not for the fact that they went ahead and decided that we're adapting the book and we can do a voiceover, so let's give Louis a voiceover. And it's like, I don't agree with that. I succinctly don't agree with that. Just don't agree with that. It's like, if anything else, like, they could have just leaned on the animation, of course, depending on the animation being slightly higher quality, to just deliver his emotions and how he's feeling, and let his chalkboard do the rest, honestly, because there's a lot that can be done with animation, and I feel like by using voiceover, they didn't take full advantage of that. But it's still fine. Kind of makes me want to read the book, if nothing else. What do you think, honey?
I think it's pretty fun, pretty direct adaptation. All they really changed is just some stuff in the third act. That instead of Louis rescuing Serena from having her wings clipped by the zookeepers that in the zoo he was staying at, versus this whole arranged marriage with the guy who was barely present.
I suppose that's kind of what they wanted. They wanted to have Louis rescue Serena, but they also didn't want to be that scary. But they still kept the wing clipping part by handing it off to Monty the Sleaze.
Who I think was added to this as well.
Yeah. I mean, for all intents and purposes, like...
And of course the squirrels were added.
Yeah. Because, again, the whole plot, like, if he was in the Boston Zoo and then Serena made it to the Boston Zoo and was about to have her wings clipped, be like, what would the squirrels be needed for? So they set up Sammy Davis Squirrel Jr., the... Squirrely Davis Jr., if you will, to kind of set up the idea that we'll have the squirrels come back later. And then they had one be JFK because, like, did they run out of jazz references? I don't understand.
I don't know.
They could have. I mean, they could have done Louis. They could have done Louis Prima. I don't know.
Yeah. No, they couldn't have.
Oh, that's right, because even Disney got in trouble with Louis Prima's estate for continuing to use King Louis after the fact.
Yes, they couldn't have. They really couldn't have, especially by that
Well,
point,
they
because
could've
we already had We already had the whole thing with Tailspin, and the Jim Cummings was apparently too good. It sounded like Louis Prima.
Well, then the alternative could have been that they could go older and go Cab Calloway, or they could have gone for fucking they could have gone for, what was it? No, not. Fuck, what was the,
well, we're in Boston.
What was the kid's name? No, the kid's name. He was the guy, the pianist, I think.
What? What kid's name? Mozart?
Nat? It was Cole.
No, I think they went with JFK because he was from Massachusetts.
I guess that makes some sense.
Yeah.
Then again, New York adjacent, they could have picked up Nat King Cole. Is that his name? Is that his name? I think that's his name.
The kid? What do you mean the kid?
You know, like like what's the kid's name? You know, it's like, but
like Steve Urkel?
No. God.
That's who you're sounding like.
Good Lord. But honestly, yeah, I feel like there were a lot of things in this film that could have been a lot better, like that. Like if they had gone full force and made it a musical, like proper, gave it the proper, like, you know, I feel like
like they went more, if they went more musical like they did in the Swan Princess.
The Swan Princess was
jazzy.
The Swan Princess was brilliant because, like, in most Disney films, like, I wanted to say this last week, but in most Disney films, you get like 5 numbers, including the opening number and the love ballad. But in the Swan Princess, you get like 7, 8, maybe even 9, because a lot of them are ensemble numbers. And the thing is, like, the ensemble numbers, like the band, we're not a band of animals, and then it's like, and then it brings to the rest of the ensemble at the tea party. It's like, all the princey does is practice, and it kind of shows that the songs aren't useless just because it's not the prince singing it, it's the people singing, it's exposition, and as such, they're able to get it across in an entertaining way, while also intercutting it with, you know, this cartoon comedy that kind of explains why it would work best as an animated movie and probably adapt to the stage very, very weirdly. You know, as much as I say it would be fun, it's like, it would be difficult. As for this movie, they kind of just halfway go. It's like, they don't have a proper opening number, and they just kind of give an I Want song to the father, and they don't even, like, pretend to give an I Want song to Louis at all. They gave him a voice, and they decided not to give him a musical number, which honestly I think was kind of smart, because again, with all the dialogue, again, it's like, I'm gonna keep harping on that if I don't stop. If I don't stop, somebody else will have to stop
I
me.
don't see anything wrong with having the internal dialogue, but I see what you mean, because there were quite a few moments where it would have been better if there was no internal dialogue, because we were already getting like the stuff he'd written on the chalkboard. But if it had been like in The Little Mermaid, where she's singing Somewhere Beyond My Wildest Dreams, or If Only You Could Know, like if Louis had a moment like that, then it would have. Then we would have really been seeing more into his head.
Even
than
better,
just surface level interpretation.
Even as an alternative idea. What if the only time we heard Louis' voice was in musical numbers? That's an alternative choice, you know? It would give us an idea of who he is and how he feels about this, but it would be done in the strongest emotional points in song. I think Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist is a TV show that did that, where they kind of use jukebox, where they use a song that fits the scenario, and there was like the character's father was like fucking like comatose or something, like he was halfway like there, but he was like still present, like he was still awake, but like he was kind of like just fully
okay, I think we're getting a little off track.
My point is, like, in musical numbers, that would be experienced by Zoe and her Extraordinary Playlist at people's emotional heights, is like he would like jump out of the wheelchair and actually start dancing and singing songs. It's like if Louis had that essentially, but for his like muteness, like his just lack of vocal cords, like that would have been interesting. It would have been a fun angle. But yeah, again, there's a lot of different ways that this could have gone. And maybe this story needs to be returned to for another adaptation, because, you know, the fact that, like, I think I typed in Trumpet of the Swan movie, this is the only thing that comes up. They should probably come back to this movie. If anything should have a remake in this day and age of remakes, why not Trumpet of the Swan? Go back to the book and rethink it. Let's do something. Let's do something else with it. I'd love to see DreamWorks do a take on it.
Speaking of rethinking things, you need to change the thumbnail, honey.
I do need to change the thumbnail. I'll get to that. But in the meantime, thank you all so much for joining us on this really bizarre little adventure.
What are we doing next week? Did you decide?
I did decide that if you're viewing this after the fact, thanks for watching. Next week, as far as swans go, I wanted to keep the swan thing going, and honestly, the only thing I could think of, Barbie Swan Lake. Let's wrap back around to the Swan Princess, sort of. And a movie to make up for the thing is like a movie that I have seen, The Swan Princess, a movie that I'd barely seen, Trumpet of the Swan. Here's a movie I haven't seen yet. So, until next time, remember to take care, stay safe, and be kind in all that you do. Good night, everybody.
I don't think I picked it up.
Coho. What?
I don't think I picked up my honk.
Oh.